When do you give up on your dreams? What is that deciding moment for you? Perhaps you wanted to be an astronaut but discovered you were scared of flying. Maybe you wanted to be a doctor but couldn't afford the school. Or maybe, just maybe, you wanted to be a musician but couldn't justify making art. I booked and ran house shows for a summer a couple years ago, but throughout my time in Nashville, I've been plugged into the DIY scene. We've all seen so many venues pop up and then disappear just as quickly, largely due to a citywide intolerance of music, and just in general the American stigma against or for youth. I'll get back to that one later. These venues are spaces not only defined by their locations and buildings, but by their communities, the people who attend and show up and support. And looking back at that summer, a saddening amount of those people have disappeared. A lot of those bands have fallen off the face of the earth. I'd say about half of these bands are still active, and the other half, well, who's to say what happened to them? It's almost as if they were never there. And now all that's really left is show posters on defunct social media accounts. That's it. One particular story that sticks out to me is the Downers. I remember a dude in a cape and a luchador mask, pretty built, with a huge cabinet for an amp and another amp on top of it. This one right here is a 1x15, comes up to about my hip. His came up to about here. It must have been a 4x12? I've never seen that before. And on top of that 4x12 was a 1x15. Perhaps my memory has inflated the size of the amp, but did not inflate the gravitas with which they performed. They left two things at the venue, this t-shirt and a double kick pedal. They came back for the double kick pedal. I don't remember what they sounded like at all, and that saddens me to no end. I wish I had a video recording of them. Because now two things remain to that band. A private Instagram account with a description, "Thanks for the memories," and this t-shirt. I need to invest in an actual light. Sure, I booked my friends, but I was a part of that community. I did a lot of networking and outreach. I wanted good music. I wanted good people. Because that's what community is. It's people that you show up for every week when they need it and when they don't. You go see the same groups, not because you're a groupie, but just it's a good time and you see your friends and you make new friends. But all of a sudden, that band has a scandal, or somebody has a kid, or somebody gets a job that's a bit too hard to handle, or that perfect house venue gets shut down. And all of a sudden, those shows and gatherings dwindle and disappear. All of those people you met fade into the background, even if they were good friends, just by circumstance. And so that community becomes a memory. There's no uniting force, and there's no space to practice in. And so I have this immense sort of sadness for the underground band. Maybe it was a deserved scandal, or maybe real life just took up too much time. As I get older, a couple years out of college, I hear more and more musicians settle down for real jobs. I mean, even I have a real job to fund any of this. Why is it immature to do something that you're passionate about? In what world are you shamed for giving up on your dreams? Doing new things is generally frowned upon, and simultaneously the select group of things that you're allowed to do, socially acceptable pastimes, is small. As a dude in the South, you got hunting, fishing, golfing, watching sports, and getting drunk. And these are fine hobbies to have, fine hobbies that do indeed build community. But what if you have an aspiration for more? They don't have that. And so why is something that is an emotional expression and has a potential for future benefit, I know that's what you want, America, so frowned upon? Why is dream chasing for the youth? There's this pervasive glorification of youth throughout American culture that people can barely deconstruct, which isn't inherently bad. But it's bad that it's only countered by intergenerational distaste. Older generations dump money into chasing it, whether it be treatment or tail, all the while spending infinitely more money in efforts to quash legitimate representations of the youth they are chasing. I had somebody say to me a couple months ago they were quitting music at 28 because it's embarrassing to be doing such a thing. What makes your punk band less dignified than a Wall Street banker? What makes your SoundCloud rap career any less legitimate than a real estate agent? Because I think you can guess which half of those people I think actually matters. So why are we killing the youth, and why are we killing their third spaces? Music City, or the music industry in general, so actively masquerades as this giant that supports real artists. But the people, the culture, the government, the streaming services that it has created don't do that. I'd say they actively go against it in search of profit. And so I look back on the few videos that I took while I was running shows, and I remember how I felt like I was doing something. I'm stuck with memories of dreams left behind, hope squashed by neighbors who don't understand when a sound ordinance starts. I felt like I was a part of something bigger. The people around me that I still talk to felt like they were a part of something bigger. And I'll stand by the fact that it did matter. We did create something worthwhile. Art is bigger than you. It's not some childlike pursuit. It's expression, and I think you shrivel up and die without that. Take more videos if your memory's bad. Keep in contact with those people who might fade away. And I say that for myself more than anyone else. Make art. Make as much art as you can stomach, and then make a little more. And before you go to sleep at night, maybe say a prayer that all the punks make it to heaven.